stand at the back end of your yoga mat, feet about hip distance apart. As you do that, allow the hands to be down by your side, or you can place the hands over belly and heart. Take a moment to turn your gaze low or close the eyes completely. Welcome yourself to the practice by coming to your breath. Pay attention to the length of your inhale and exhale. Where does it start? Where does the breath end for you? And of course, not really the end, but the continuous cycle. How do you pick right back up? And we'll play with that notion in the practice today. No specific beginning or end, flowing from one pose to the next. One breath to the next. Interlace your hands now, flip the palms and lift your arms up to the sky. Push through your thumb and your first finger a lot. Give a little squeeze of the glutes, push down strong into your feet. And then as you flip the hands, they stay connected. Thumb and first finger now straight up to the sky. Lean towards your right side. Push your hips to the left. Inhale. Come to the center. Lean to your second side. Hands to the left, hips to the right. And then come back to the middle, still keeping the arms connected, hands connected, straight out in front of you. Again, interlace all 10 fingers, but spread the palms, and then sit down and back in your legs. So it's a squat here, knees to hips about in line with one another, but let your chest be down along your thighs, belly, chest, down onto the thighs. Look straight down. Next, inhale, stand back up. Hands again, staying connected. Lean back, hands to the right, hips to the left. This time, push all of the weight into the left foot so that your right foot can come off of the ground. Bring it back into the center. Lean first to the second side. Then push the weight through the standing leg and lift. Nicely done. Both feet back together, hands still are connected, flowing from one pose to the next. Bend the knees a little bit now. You're staying taller, torso as vertical as possible. Keep lifting the arms up and back behind the head as much as we can. Finally, straighten the legs. Exhale, forward fold. Shake out the head, arms, pedal out the feet here. Walk your hands out to downward facing dog. And continue that pedal and movement in down dog. And then finally settling into a little bit more stillness in the outer form for down dog. On an exhale, lower your knees down to the ground, push back into child's pose. And then thread your right arm under the left for a twisted child's pose. You can do this with your butt higher in the air or lower down to the heels. Untwist. Right hand goes back out. Send the left arm underneath. And untwist. Again, downward facing dog. So as you come through all fours, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. Lift your right leg up into the air for three-legged dog. Pull your knee into the chest and hover forward. Plank pose with the rounded back knee lift. Stay with it. And then up and back again, three-legged dog. This time, bend your right knee, point the knee more up towards the sky. Let the toes float towards the left side of the body, but try to still keep the shoulders square down towards the floor. And one more time, bring knee into the chest, float forward into plank. Step the right foot all the way through into your low lunge. Inhale, lift both arms up, come up to high lunge. Do your best to make the back legs straight and to square the hips. Right hip back, left hip a little bit forward. And then add a twist here. Left arm forward, right arm back, look over your right side. Come back to neutral and center. Do that twice more. Left arm forward, right arm back, twist and look towards your right side. And then come back to center. Know that if you're losing balance a little bit, body has to adjust and find its way. You could also take the back knee down to make that more stable. Back to neutral. Lower both hands down to the floor, step back, full plank. Downward facing dog, lift the hips. Side plank balance on the right hand, outer edge of the right foot. You choose, you can stack the feet, keep them apart. Use the left foot forward, more like a kickstand, or change it up completely to have the right knee down. Take one more breath in side plank, and then go back to full plank. Change to downward facing dog. And we start with the side plank on this side. So left hand, outer edge of the left foot. Again, you're choosing. You could stay inner edge of the right foot, step it forward, stack it, or use the bottom knee instead. Where do you find your stability, your flow here in side plank? And then come back to full plank. Lower down to your yoga mat. Peel the chest up for cobra. Change to downward facing dog. Lift your left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Pause, give it a breath. And then pull the knee into the chest and hover forward, round the back. Go again, three-legged dog, up and back. Bend your knee, open the hip. Again, the shoulders want to turn, the whole torso wants to turn. Do your best to lift underneath the right arm to keep the right shoulder as lifted as the left. And then change, knee into chest, hover and stay. And then step it all the way through. Low lunge. Feet hip distance apart. Make sure you're not on a tightrope there to make it easier to change to your upright. High lunge, arms in the air. Again, you might start with a little bend in the back knee to get the tailbone more straight down to the floor. Hips square, and then keeping that as much as we can, we re-straighten the back leg. Tone in the abdomen. And add the twist here. Left arm goes back now, right arm forward. Look a little bit to the side. And then both arms back up to neutral. Do it twice more. Your breath, your pace, arms back up. Perhaps noticing how the flow on one side is a little different than the other. Nothing wrong with that, just taking it in. Both arms up. Exhale, set the hands down, step back to plank. And now just flat down to the mat. Press down through the hands and feet, lift the chest for cobra. And we go to downward facing dog. Look forward now to your hands and walk your way up. Little steps all the way to the top end of our yoga mat. Greeting here. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand up, reach both arms to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. Pause for a moment here, take it in. How's the cycle of the breath feeling now? How's the body feeling? Little heat, little lift of the heart rate. Getting the day going. And then continuing along, reach the arms back up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower flat against your mat. Cobra. This time, child's pose. Push back to child's pose. And then come up just to all fours, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath our hips. Good old cat and cow here. Let the spine move back and forth. Every time in cow pose, pulling the chest forward and through, eyes, tailbone up to the sky. And then every time in cat pose, press down through the hands and knees, round the back, really pull the navel up, in towards the body, engaged and strong. From here, we're changing it up. Cross at your ankles, sit all the way down onto your mat, bring the feet out in front of you. Okay, take the hands behind you, maybe a foot behind the shoulders, something like that, little distance. Turn the fingers out to the side, thumbs to point towards your heels, and then lift up, reverse table. Then as you lift, you'll probably find one line from the shoulders down to the hands there. Tuck the chin a bit so you're looking at your belly. Squeeze your glutes like crazy and lift the hips just a little bit higher. See if you can make that extension open up across the arms and chest as well. Stay here for one more breath. And then lower it back down. Okay, wherever you were, I want you to close the line just a little bit. So heels slightly closer in, hands slightly closer to the line of the hips, just a little tiny bit. Let's see what happens. We lift up. And then walk the feet back out. And walk the feet back out a little bit more. So we go from that very closed position to a little bit more, a little bit more. Now you've got more room. Lift again, really high. Squeeze in the glutes. Stay with it, stay with it. Look, chin to the chest. Big belly breaths. One more time. And all the way, but down to the floor. Surprisingly hard, that one, I think. Cross at the ankles, flip back over to where you were before in all fours. Change to downward facing dog. Lift the right leg up into the air, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open the hip. So we'll start to add on a little bit here. Pull the knee into the chest, hover forward, and then step it all the way through to your low lunge, making sure your feet are set at least hip distance apart so it's easier to balance as we come up. High lunge, arms to the sky. This time, spin the back heel down, open up the hips and shoulders to the side, extend the arms in either direction, warrior two. Flip the palms to the sky, lift the right hand high for reverse warrior. Keep the hips and shoulders open to the side so it's still warrior two. Maybe look down the back arm. For me, that helps keep the torso, the energy more sideways. Go back to warrior two, arms level out. Rotate the hands on either side of the front foot. Step it back to plank. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. Lift the left leg into the air, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open the hip. Playing with that same flow here, pull the knee into the chest. Take your time to step it through. Start with the back heel lifted to come up to high lunge. Arms to the sky. Pause there for a breath or two. And now change to warrior two. Spin the back heel down. Feet end up about heel to heel in alignment as you take the arms out in either direction. Keep broadening the front knee so it's over the middle of the front foot. Flip the palms here, change to reverse or sun warrior. Left arm up, right arm down. Again, instead of looking up, try looking down the right arm here. Stay with the same bend in the front knee, same sit into the thigh and hip. And then come back, warrior two. First, the hands all the way back down to the floor. So you lift the back heel as you do so and step back to plank. This time, flat down to the mat. Reach your hands back behind you, palms to the sky. Lift everything up. On an exhale, lower it down. Reach the arms out in front of you for superhero. And then inhale, lift up. Finally, on an exhale, lower down. Take the hands behind your head. And on an inhale, lift up. More elbows as much out to the side as possible. And lower it down. Push back to child's pose. Give yourself a slowing, rounding of the back, slowing of the breath. Okay, another round here. So through all fours to downward facing dog. Again, building on this flow. So lift the right leg up, bend the knee, open the hip, and then pull the knee into the chest, round the back, stay for a moment, and step it all the way through. Come up to high lunge, arms to the sky. Change to warrior two. Back heel down, open up through the chest, shoulders, hips, arms in either direction. Flip the palms, reverse warrior. Right arm up, left arm down. Look down your left arm. And then adding on here, right shoulder towards your right thigh. Take the right hand across the chest, left arm goes behind the back. Stay with this clasp or try a full bind. Right hand under the thigh, left arm trying to catch hold of the fingertips. Unbind. Turn your chest to look towards your right thigh. Go to pigeon pose. Pull the right leg up and lower the right knee down. Lower the left leg and come down to the forearms. Again, more of flow today, not staying in one pose as long. So we'll keep left elbow down on the ground. Stack the palms and try a twisted variation of pigeon here. Of course, the twist is progressive and optional, but you're looking towards your right side with the right elbow up towards the sky. And then we untwist and build right back up to the hands. Pull the right knee back up and into the chest. Hover. And to three-legged dog. Set the right foot down. Lift your left leg up into the air, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open. Point the knee more towards the sky. Okay, pull the knee into the chest, hover forward. Step the foot all the way through. So it's a flow, but not a rushed flow, probably slower than most teachers. Come up to high lunge. Flow just meaning we're connecting the poses today. Warrior two, back heel goes down, arms in either direction. Right arm down your right leg, left arm up to the sky for reverse or sun warrior. Look down your right arm. And then side angle, I'm taking top hand towards the opposite shoulder to try to then mesh left shoulder, left thigh, right hand behind the back. Stay with this, or left arm under the left thigh, right hand trying to find those fingertips. My hands aren't going to connect today, but it's the effort that makes the work, the effort that counts. As you unbind, look down at your front foot. Downward facing dog. Step it all the way back. Oops. That's not right. Pull the left knee forward behind the left wrist for pigeon. Walk the right leg back behind you. Come down to the forearms. Your opportunity is to stay just like this or add in the twist. Right elbow down to the ground, palms stack. And then try opening up the chest and left elbow more towards the side, more towards the sky for this twist. Okay, undo here. Go back up to your hands, torso lifted. Okay, now we get to do downward facing dog. Lift the back knee, step it all the way back. Pedal out the feet. With a nice bend in the knees, walk your hands backwards to your feet, keeping that knee bend. Think ragdoll here as we hang and sway over the body. Let a breath or two out through the mouth. Release, release, release here. And from that release, rise up, roll through the body, come all the way up to standing. Roll the shoulders up, back, down a couple of times. Take the arms straight out in front of you. I'm going to step a little more forward so I have space in front and behind me. Make sure you're doing the same. Okay, a little standing balance flow. Right knee up towards the chest. And for a moment here, just kick the foot forward and back. Right knee bends and comes up. I have my hands forward for counterbalance. You could take them out to the side, whatever works for you here. And then just changing the direction. Instead of forward and back, we'll go up and out to the side and across center. Go back to that forward and back. And keep right knee up into the chest. With your right hand, sweep it to the inside of your leg and try to hold on to the outside of your foot. Other hand to the front or to the side, maybe holding on to something wherever you feel best. And today we're taking this foot straight out to the front as much as possible. And then into dancer pose, so trying to keep that connection of hand to foot, but changing into a quad stretch. Left arm now towards the sky as you tilt and lean a little bit forward and lift the leg up and back behind you. And then keeping that connection as much as you can, going back to where you started. So trying to pull the knee up towards the chest. Change how you're holding on to that leg and extend. Lower it down. Give both legs a little bit of a shake. We're getting the movement going first to hopefully break up any anxieties about falling off balance. It's meant to bring you a little bit off balance and make us just try a little bit of different flow and movement. So second leg, forward and back. Again, you can change up your arms. I'm just giving you one option here. And then change it out to the side and across line of the body. We can fall down, we just come right back up. Notice how even just this movement for me is pretty different side to side. How the body must adjust to that through each step we make every day. Okay, left leg back, forward and back, forward and back. And then you're going to keep the left knee up and into the chest. At first, arm goes to the inside, crouch forward, try to hold on to the outside of the foot. Stand up as much as you can. Leg as straight as it goes. Straight out to the front. Doesn't have to go all the way straight. See what happens. And then we're using that connection, hand to foot, pull it back in, change to your quad stretch, knee down. Other arm then towards the sky. And lean forward and kick the left leg up and back behind you. And try to keep the connection and go back to that first leg forward. and stretch it out. Oh my goodness. Come on down, shake it out. Nice work. Fun times. Up to the front end of your yoga mat. Lift both arms to the sky. Take the feet wide as the mat. Turn the toes out a little bit, heels in. Ready for Malasana or yogi squat. So you can send your legs into a squat at first, but about as high as the knees. And draw the hands together, keeping the feet flat. Drop the butt down lower. And I use my upper arms right into the thighs to rebound against each other and keep lifting the torso upright. Okay, remember that reverse table or kind of crab walk that we did before? We're going to try that out here. So again, just different flows, different ways to get in and out of poses. Lean your hands back, catch yourself, and kind of walk out to your reverse table. Turn the feet in, hip distance apart, lift the hips. Our bodies can learn so much just coming in and out of poses, slightly different in the pace, in the way. Drop the butt down closer to the ground so that you can readjust towards Malasana. So then the feet come out again. Walk the hands in. Shift the body weight back into Malasana. You guys up for it one more time? Hands back, as if you're going to catch yourself and sit on your butt, but instead, walk the hands back, back, back. Turn the feet in, this time heel toe the feet so that the inner edges of the feet are touching or close to touching. Then try the lift and make the legs as straight as you can go. This time you get to just sit all the way down to the mat. Drop your seat. Hug your knees into your chest. Can you stay high on your seat and balance here? I've got one more of these flow balances for you to try. Hold on to your big toes with your thumb and first two fingers wrapped around it. Straighten the legs as much as they'll go, balancing towards the sits bones here. Imagine that your right foot is like a telephone that you want to talk to, and pull the right foot back towards your ear. And then straighten the leg. It's all just play, doesn't need to look good. As I laugh through myself. Left foot, like I'm trying to talk to it. Man, that phone receiver will not get close. And then straighten both legs again. Lower the heels down to the ground. Lie down onto your back, pull the knees into the chest. Perhaps happy we're done with that. Take the hands out to a T shape. Lower both knees over to the right side. We did this in Sunday's class, so we're taking this, let's say, level 1 pose of the twisted supine pose. And we're going to add in a few bits more. Stretch the top leg straight to try to catch your left foot in your right hand. Such a dedicated stretch there for IT band, outer hip. Feel it in your butt all the way down the side of the leg. Good stuff. Okay, you either keep working there and you're happy with that, or you want to get into a little bit more challenge. I'm going to try to scooch that back leg, your right leg now, so that the knee points more towards the short end of the yoga mat. And you can stretch the legs straighter towards the short end of the mat as well, making your legs more towards an L shape. Again, we're not going for perfect, we're going for trying. This would be a nice look at the standing balance with a rotation that we came through. One more thing, you've got your left hand. Can you try to catch hold of your left foot? I'm going to bring my head and shoulders off of the mat to catch hold. And then try to lie it back down. So that my hands are connected to both of my feet. And then release that hold, stack the knees, and back across the center. I'm going to do the second side in a completely different way. Pull the knees into the chest. So we'll all go through the hardest bind first, and then allow ourselves to back off to the degree that we'd like. So now knees to chest, cross your right leg over your left, kind of like eagle legs. And then you're going to take your hands and hold on to your opposite feet. If you're in yin practice, you'd be like, oh, shoelace pose, I'm going to stay right here. But then we're going to add a few things to it. Now the bottom leg is going to do the work first. So your left leg should be on bottom. While you're holding on to your foot, you're going to try to extend the left thigh long so that the left knee is down towards the mat, facing the short end. Then twist the upper body, lean towards the left shoulder, and extend your left leg out. And that gets you into that Tibetan weaponry 3, we call it in yoga hour. Looks like you're pulled back on the bow and arrow. And then you let go of one or both feet. And eventually let the knees stack back to that sort of level 1 supine twist. Bring both knees back across the center. And then I'm going to just draw circles on the ceiling with my knees. Give it a try. A couple of you drawing circles in the sky today. Super nice. Go in the opposite direction. Set your feet back down onto the mat, soles of the feet on the mat. Last little bit here is a flowing bridge pose. Inhale, press down through your feet, shoulders, head, lift your hips up. On the exhale, lower it back down, and you can keep just the lower body working for a few more breaths in this flow. Or try it. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, arms down by your feet. We'll do it 2 more times. Inhale, lift, arms up and overhead. Your range of motion there, what feels right. Exhale, lower it down. And then inhale up. And exhale, lower. Pause for a moment, let the knees fall in. Greet the hands over the belly. Push mid to low back down into the mat and just take in the breath. And eventually either staying there or stretching out into your more traditional Shavasana, arms and legs extended. Eyes as you wish, open or closed. Find about 2 minutes here of stillness. The flow and cycle of the breath still with us as we close out the movement practice. When you are ready here, stretch out a little bit more. Take your time to come back to a seated position. And finding the seat, palms come together, thumbs to your sternum. Just as the breath is a cycle, one right into the next, so is the practice. To transition from the cycle on the yoga mat into the work off of the yoga mat, the sound of Om. Sing along, listen, tune it out. Deep breath in. Bow gratitude to yourself, each other, this practice. Thank you. Namaste.